Welcome back to Purple Sector. We got some F1 news for this video. Confirmed Bahrain and Jeddah are out for the season and they're not being replaced, which creates a 5-week gap for Japan and Miami. What do you think that's going to look like for the season now? What
I think
problems
I'm
may
going to
that
get a
cause?
lot more yard work done is
Yeah,
what I think is going to happen.
same.
um, we're going to be bored.
Very
It's going to
bored.
be frustrating to not have a race to watch. But I do think, while I'm disappointed we're going to be missing two races, I think we're down to like 22 now for the season. I think it creates a new wrinkle in the development race, specifically Mercedes, their advantage, and is this 5 weeks a window where the other teams can catch up?
Um, I think that's definitely an option, like a poses an issue for Mercedes, especially with customer teams. All of a sudden, they have more time to dive into that PU and just get more info and try to catch up. And if they catch up and kind of look at Mercedes, like how they're using their battery and everything, they might be able to kind of mimic that and then also just tweak their car how they want.
Yeah. I mean, we knew this going into the season, right? Is these work teams have an inherent advantage. They have to develop these engines. They got to get cooling data and run all these tests and basically make sure that the thing works before they give all this information to their customer teams. So, that gives them what, a month advantage in the season of just understanding their engine at a greater depth of detail. And so the teams are just lacking knowledge, right? We had testing and all these things, but they're still lagging 4 to 5 weeks behind. So is this 5 week period an opportunity for them to catch up? Possibly. I don't know that these 4 weeks and these 4 weeks wind up equating to the same performance gain. But other teams are going to get to know their engines more. Um, It'll be interesting to see what kind of upgrades get brought to Miami. That's a long time to have to bring upgrades to the table. And then we've got kind of other things woven into here, right? So we've got the additional development and upgrade opportunities program, the ADUO.
I try
Um,
saying that fast. Watch that.
yeah, no, I'm surprised I got it out so cleanly the first time. Um, so that's every 6 races. There's a timestamp where you look at a car's performance, particularly their power unit. And if you are within 2 to 4%, you get one additional upgrade that you can bring to your power unit for the season. If you're someone like Aston and you're 4+% higher, you might get two upgrades for the season. And so the ins and outs of how that's calculated and how that's granted approval, I don't know. But I have to think that teams are positioning themselves to try to chase after this to give them an advantage to bring more upgrades and bring the fight to Mercedes.
Yeah.
Um,
If you're at that 1.9%, maybe it's worth
you
downplaying
sandbag
a little
Japan to
bit
make it
the
happen.
extra,
Yeah.
the extra percentage.
Yeah.
Cycling back from that performance thing, losing the two races, aside from teams like, figuring out their cars and upgrading and tweaking, it's points lost for Mercedes either way, because right now they have such an advantage that they probably would have been podium, 1, 2, 1 and 3, whatever in those races. So all of a sudden those are gone. Everything's shifted back.
Especially early in the season.
Yes, early in the season. And then you just talked about the ADUO. That's hard to say.
Good
Um,
job.
we're getting into June 1st. They're changing the compression ratio, testing the rule on it. And instead of just testing it ambient, they're going to do ambient and operating temperatures, which might really level the playing field if Mercedes really does have that big of an advantage with that.
Yeah. I mean, time will tell how big these changes are. Um, I tend to think that this compression ratio test really isn't going to hurt them all that much. We might see a relative dip of performance, but I don't think it's going to hamstring them. It's not going to knock them down to the performance of these other teams. I think there's still a gap for these other teams to get to. And, tied to the OADUO, we'll get there. Yes, you get an upgrade, but that doesn't mean it happens immediately. There's still development time that needs to happen. You're also limited to the number of power units that you bring to the car every season. And so when is that upgrade going to come? Is it, I don't know, the US Grand Prix? Is there only a handful of races at the end? When can you get this in the timeline for development tested and brought as an upgrade package to a car? And how do all the other teams shake out, right? I think long term for this reg set, this is going to be good things. It means that a team like Aston has a hope that, sure, maybe they can't get it all figured out this year, but with these upgrades, especially if it's two that come 2027, now they've got more development.
Yeah, I mean any of the bottom half teams or even kind of the top of the midfield, they're not giving up on the season, but they're already looking at like, all right, this is our chance to learn, especially if you're, over the percentages, we got the upgrades. They're already looking at next season. It's like the end of regulations last season. You have teams like, this is a terrible example because they suck right now. Williams, who said, "Oh, we're not going to develop our car this year. We're working on the next regulation set." So they're already thinking about year two, 2027. How can we tweak our car for regulation set? Whose car is working where? Why is it working?
And it could be, another story like McLaren where they're at the back of the grid like they were in 2023 to winning races in the second half of 2024 and winning championships. So for some teams, this is going to be the long game, but for teams like Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, right, these are their opportunities to up their game and start to fight for those podium spots. Ferrari's already there, but can they get a P2? Can they win a race? I don't know.
Yeah. Anything could happen. I mean, any of those like top four teams are, the season's not over. The season just started. We have plenty of time. We have a 5-week gap now. That, like I said, takes points opportunities away from Mercedes early in the year. So kind of opens the door a little bit. I think Mercedes is still massively ahead, but who knows? Let's go to your team. There's a time to hit the panic button.
Let me take a swig of my Lando Monster first. Had to get that in. As a fan, it's Mercedes' fault. They didn't give us the rule book. You've got poor communication. They haven't given us. There's a page missing from the instruction manual. Like Mercedes doomed them. What do I think actually happened? You got to look at all the Mercedes customer teams. They're the only teams that are having this issue. Now, is it a fluke that you've got two component failures of the same component that they claim were different issues? I don't really know what to believe there. But is this a fluke thing? Is it just coincidence? Is it user error? Did they break something? Is it something to do with their car design and how the engine fits into their chassis? Really hard to tell, but at this point, I'm kind of pointing the finger at McLaren. I don't think you can blame Mercedes, at least not at this point, unless we have more data and we start seeing issues like this with other teams.
So I think as a McLaren fan, you're doing a good job of not overly pointing the finger at Mercedes because, I mean, you're right. You have the car design, you have how their electrical's hooked up, like how is the cooling on the car? Did y'all do something wrong with the power unit you're given? Like, did you hook up something weird? It's so early. Obviously, it's really easy to be like. Or even
is it just somewhere in the gray areas, right? Is it that the Mercedes engine works really well with the Mercedes car because those two were designed to be married together, right? Versus McLaren was given an engine and had to work around it, and they still don't really understand all these things. And so, did the lack of familiarity with the engine cause them to make a design choice that made these components more vulnerable?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, totally jumping off McLaren really quick. I think that's the biggest issue with Aston because they waited on the design for so long, knew he wanted to take so long, and Honda didn't really get to design that power unit for that car until it
Well,
was
they
so
had the
late.
summer interns designing that engine too from
Yeah,
the
and they dumped the entire good Honda engineer team. Uh, they were like, "Oh, we're not with Red Bull, we're out." But so hard yes or no on panic button. Where are you at?
I haven't pushed it yet, but my hand is hovering above it. Yeah.
Thinking about it.
Well, I'm waiting for Miami. If they can use Japan and the 5 weeks between Miami and bring some upgrades, figure out what the heck's going on. I don't know. I'd love to see them fight and get on the podium. I definitely don't think they're on Ferrari's level at this point, but I have to have a little bit of hope
They
as a
have to
McLaren
get
fan.
good because my
Yeah.
F1 bingo card literally has McLaren 1-2 on it. So it's a
Well,
corner
by
spot.
that logic, Lewis is going to win his ninth championship.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's a dig. Yeah, Verstappen fan over here. Uh, yeah, he might be hitting the panic button after Japan.
I'm ready. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Um, well, since we're talking about our teams, what's going on with Red Bull, man?
I don't have a Red Bull, but let me just prepare myself.
We'll edit that in.
Right, yeah, just floating icon of Red Bull can. Um, right after, I think it was like the next morning, I had texted you Red Bull 20 kilograms overweight, which is of compared to other cars, which is crazy, or I guess the minimum. The only other team that's weighing in heavier than them is Williams, which we already knew Williams has like a major weight issue. But all these other teams are, like less than 10 kilograms, less than 5 over. Like the goal is, I mean, for anyone that doesn't really know, the goal is to be as close to the minimum weight as possible without breaking that, like McLaren did last year in Vegas. And it was like, well, they got the skid plate, which adds to the weight, but you want to be as close as possible without breaking the rules. So Red Bull is so far over.
Well,
We're
isn't the rule
losing.
of thumb something like 3/10 for every 10 kilograms? So we're talking like 6/10
It's
in terms of lap
point
time based on.
0.03 per kilogram. But
Yeah.
obviously, with the new regulations of car design, basically from social media, news outlets, Reddit, F1 fan, like everyone doing the math, we're talking like 3/10, 6/10, even up to a second. But like the range I got is 3 to 6/10, which is massive. When you add that up for 50 laps,
Yeah.
adds up quick. Qualifying,
Well,
it hurts.
they're about a second off the pace in qualifying, so
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure, absolutely sure that this weight thing is part of the factor, but there's something else going on too, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got the weight, and then I actually have some of Max's quotes pulled up, because you have to hit them.
See the meme, GP talking to him to retire the car. He's like, "I'm gonna retire from the whole effing sport."
I mean, people kind of think when he gets mad, but we already got the Nintendo Switch.
You
Practicing
better
Mario
hope he
Kart
doesn't
instead
have
of
too much fun
simulator.
this weekend.
Finding the mushrooms. I actually did just watch this video again. 2023, he warned against the battery regulations, and it's kind of come true. We are seeing some fun racing. We'll get into that probably in another section. He warned about it, and he also said this is going to come back to bite us. And I don't think he's wrong, but he's also catching a lot of backlash for comments against the regulations, which is almost like a 50-50 split with the drivers. You got the good teams are enjoying it, of course. Mercedes, Lewis is stoked. But you got a lot of these teams that are struggling a little bit are not about it. He's not happy, as usual. If the car's not working for him, it's undrivable. The car's shit. Like, panic button a little bit. I'm kind of there with you. Like McLaren, I'm like, it doesn't feel like we're going to be a podium team this year. Do I think we could be fighting with your team? Maybe the fourth best team on the grid. I hope so. I'd hate
It
to
kind of
lose that
feels
to
like
Alpine.
McLaren Red Bull is going to be fighting for P3 in the constructors.
Yeah, I think we're going to end up with like a Mercedes Ferrari fight, McLaren Red Bull, And then like in what Alpine Haas fight, it'll be like
Well,
Gasly Behrman.
speaking of which, I think Haas is only 1 point behind McLaren right now.
Yeah.
17 points for the season.
If you look
18.
at the standings right now, constructors and drivers, it's very interesting.
I mean, they've got the Ferrari engine.
Piastri actually gets to drive a race, so they'll get a little better.
Point.
So right now, I mean, yeah, I think
Behrman,
like sets of 2.
WDC. Behrman WDC.
It's not going to happen, but anything can happen.
Give me hope somewhere.
Our team.
I'm gonna have to root for Kimi. I root for the underdogs. I'm gonna have to root for Kimi.
I'm rooting for Kimi. We talked about this. I think Kimi's got. I think he's gonna get George. I hope he does.
I just want to fight. I want drama.
I do want them to fight. A little bumping wheels. Ferrari's gonna do it. It's gonna happen. It's unavoidable.
Even amongst themselves.
I think that's kind of what we got for F1 news, rumors, our thoughts. There is some new stuff cooking. We'll have another short video coming out soon with Aston. We got some newy rumors that aren't quite confirmed yet, and some probably Alonso memes coming in with the whole wheel vibration thing, but we'll save that for next time. So we'll catch you next time on Purple Sector.
Thanks, guys.